time, queer time, queer time, queer times.
Queers in.
Welcome to Queer Times.
Hey, Kristen.
Hi, Harrison. I'm Kristen Becker.
I'm Harrison Fish.
I'm snowed in.
How is it? Everyone's like, oh, aren't you so happy that you're in California instead of in New England right now? And I'm like, I love being snowed in.
Snow day is the best. And
Yeah.
I am a big fan of we've been excited for this storm for now, obviously. I want to preface this with I have been kind of disconnected from the weather around the country. I apologize if people do not have heat right now and there is suffering for us here in P-Town. Power is on, but there's about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet of snow on the
Yeah.
ground, which is a perfect off-season week for me.
Mhm.
You get your cardio by a little shoveling, you hunker down and try to learn how to make gluten-free bagels, and you hang out.
I guess P-Town is also like kind of made for snow days because like a lot of the times in the winter, you're not doing anything anyway. So to just like have a reason, you're like, oh, I guess I'll make hot cocoa today.
It does feel like a little bit more of a throwback to a decade ago P-Town when I first moved here because it is that kind of quiet and, the economy is changing here. More people are doing things in the off season, but not this week, baby. Not this week. This week we
Mhm.
hunkered down. We smoke a little too much of the what. And by what I mean weed. Don't get crazy. It was great. I watched
I
Alone Australia.
Alone Australia?
Alone, yeah, the show Alone that I love more than
Is that like
anything else.
is it like Naked and Afraid
No.
kind of vibe?
You, as a layperson, would think it was like Naked and Afraid because you're like, "Oh, they're like out in the woods or whatever." But they're very different because in Alone, you're alone. And in Naked and Afraid, half it is like you're naked with somebody else, which I've never really understood, but they made it a whole thing. But
Yeah, it's like, why are they naked?
I also don't understand that other than marketing, gimmicky, and also like mixed genders. Like, I don't know. I guess like it's fine, but also they have a camera crew there. So I guess it's not as unsafe. In Alone, they do not have a camera crew. In Alone, you get to choose 10 items to go into the woods with the camera gear as you self-record and you survive. Literally
Okay.
survive. Can you kill something? Can you build a shelter? Can you keep your mind from going insane? Can you miss your family for 3 months and not tap out?
3?
Yeah. They have lasted that long. I think the Australian episode, which I won't ruin it for people, but it's real amazing if you're a woman or if you like to see women do cool things. It's amazing. And you just got to hunker down. And it's in like its 10th or 11th season and it's been franchised across the globe. And I am such a fan that I will VPN watch UK and Australia and Dutch. I'll read the subtitles, but
It's like your Drag Race.
it is my Drag Race, but do you know what I found really interesting? And it's been quite a study in societies. So Alone started in Canada and they started with like 10 people. 10 people dropped about 5 to 8 miles away from each other in the woods in like frigid cold or like in Patagonia where you get like heat and cold, just like crazy environments.
Mhm.
And in America, you win $500,000 if you stay the longest.
That's great.
In some of the other countries, it's 250, and there was one season where it was 1 million. But my point is that when you watch the American one, there's a lot of like, I'm out here, because they're always talking to the cameras, but they're by themselves or whatever, and you'll hear like, I gotta stay out here the longest because my kid's sick and they need special treatment, or like I just want to be able to afford my kids, like a lot of them are like somebody's sick and like somebody needs. And then when I started watching the ones from other countries, nope. Like not only is the prize money half as much, oftentimes they're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like they don't have the driving force of extreme capitalism because they have health insurance, basically. Right. And so you'll hear people who are like, wow, I did this because I thought it would be cool, but it turns out I really like my life. Whereas in America, you're like, my kid will die if I lose this game. And it was a stark difference when I started
Mhm.
watching the international version. But anyway, that's what I That's what I watched.
I mean, I mentioned Drag Race and like kind of this similar idea of like watching like the worldwide versions with subtitles and how it's different. And one thing I have trouble watching the international seasons of Drag Race just because like they're obviously speaking in like deep gay slang. They're drag queens, you know? And in America, I understand it, I speak it. But then you'll watch like I remember watching the Italian one and I don't know what the slang must be, but the subtitles they kept being like kept calling each other a female horse. Like the subtitles would be like, "Yes, female horse," and I'm like, that must be some slang.
It's their bitch
Yeah, it's like
or
yeah,
queen
something
or
like that.
like.
Exactly.
If you are
But
somebody watching internationally and you can tell us what that means, please tell us.
yeah, yeah, like what's the vibe?
What's the vibe?
I guess it would be like if we were talking on an American show and we called someone a stud, and then it translated to male horse.
Yeah,
You know?
probably. Yeah.
Right,
All
right.
right. Oh,
But
you
you
know
watched
what?
Heated Rivalry.
I watched Heated Rivalry, and
Uh-huh.
I know we talked about this already, but I hadn't watched it. But I did watch it. I loved it. Number one, we binged it immediately. Number two, it's a good watch. I remember everyone saying, like, oh, this is clearly done from a woman's perspective. But I want to point out that a woman wrote the book, but a man directed this and a man wrote the screenplay.
Mhm.
So I realized that I don't think the criticisms around it being a woman writer was around the sex scenes. They seemed, I don't know, you tell me, those seemed very viable and real. Would you agree?
I mean, I've had enough gay sex to know that it really runs the gamut.
Great. Okay,
You know?
perfect.
It's like
Great.
what
I
what
haven't, so I needed to ask you.
but like what's to say what real gay sex is? Because
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this idea that like it was men having sex through a female lens, I guess
Right.
is that how it read to you?
No.
So but there was some talk about it, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the actual thing that people were struggling with was the non-toxic masculinity portrayed by the fathers in that show. That's actually what I think made people go, "A woman wrote this." I
Right.
don't think it was the sex at all. I think it was the emotional intelligence
Of the male
the smoothie
characters.
guy's dad just hugging his kid when he's sad, even though he's clearly like a Southie dad.
Yeah.
Right? And like Shane's parents being like, that's fine as long as it's not this guy from the Boston or from, like
Mm-hmm.
it just, I don't think it had anything to do with the sex. I think it had to do with the fact that the men were the paternal figures were supportive of their gay sons. And I think everyone's like, what kind of crazy woman wrote this?
Totally. I
And
mean,
you're like,
for
a
me, it's like
Canadian one. That's which one?
for me, it's like it's a good show, it's a good watch, but I think this idea that it's been thrust into the spotlight and now has so much discourse around it is kind of like the problems with me aren't with the show at all. It's a well-made show. The storylines are interesting. It's good. You know what I mean? But and I'm not saying I'm right in this. This is just how I feel. But like I see these people being like, "Oh, this would have meant so much to me when I was 15 years old and a closeted person playing sports." And I'm kind
Okay.
of just like, "Sure." I think in retrospect that's very easy to feel, but for me when I was closeted, all of a sudden everyone around me is talking about a gay thing, that wouldn't have been good for me. You know what I mean?
You think you would have been like, "Oh, fuck, they're all gonna know I'm gay."
Well, yeah, it's like now I have like I'm not only hiding my sexuality in every aspect of my life. Now I have to have conversations about gayness. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
it's and like that's one thing. And also I'm kind of a little like I understand there are queer people, queer men who play sports because I think queer women playing sports obviously have a different
We've been able to
experience.
clock them a little bit sooner.
Right. I'm not saying it's an easier experience by any means, but different experience. And I'm kind of just like, you are a closeted person. You got into this thing that is steeped in homophobia, toxic masculinity. I guess I'm just like, it's your job to save yourself.
Wait, say more.
I'm just like, these outrageously homophobic and toxic masculine spaces. I'm just like, you went through them.
But a lot of these passions and skills are developed before your sexualization happens. A lot of people
Right.
start playing sports young. And if you start playing playing football or hockey at like 6, 7, 8 years old before your sexuality is really defined. I don't think that people are like, 15 and being like, you know what I want to do? I'm going to pick up a stick and learn how to play hockey with all these gay bashers, right? Like, I don't think that is, I think it's just the natural progression of people play sports when they're young. And then if they're good, they go further. And then they might also happen to develop into a homosexual. And then they
Right.
find themselves in a pickle of, do I give up this thing that I love so much because of who I am? Or do I hide who I am to get through and do this thing I love so much? Particularly if I'm doing it at a high enough level that I can play this professionally. Right. So I think that's, I don't know. I think you're
But
wrong.
I guess n- I mean, this was kind of why I prefaced it by saying, like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Right.
Because, like, at the same time, I'm like, you're the gay guy playing hockey. It's your job to make it safer for gay people. Did you leave it better? Did you leave it better than you came in with it? Or did you participate in the toxic masculinity and homophobia to hide yourself, making it worse for other people?
I do think that once people are out of the sport, at the very least, they should, like, now seeing people starting to come out, I think will be helpful. I think that will be something that helps future generations. And for those reasons, I still like heated rivalry.
But also another thing, I just saw a study of the political affiliations of players in the 5 major sports league. That's the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the NHL, and the WNBA. And the NHL, which, I mean, not specifically the NHL, but hockey as a whole, now has all these eyes on it. It has women and gay men buying tickets to go to the boy aquarium. Meanwhile, it is by far the most Republican and least Democrat sport out of those 5.
Interesting.
So now all of a
More
sudden,
than the NFL.
yeah, actually, it's the NHL, the MLB. You also have to think hockey is also by far the whitest sport.
That is true. I guess for a long time, it's white and it's wealthy.
Yeah, but like now it's like eyes are on hockey because of this queer media. Straight women are into hockey now because of this gay media. Gay people are into this sport now because of gay media. And all this money is being funneled into a sport that is not going to change, is going to continue being conservative, continue to be homophobic. Meanwhile, the WNBA is 1.2% Republican, is actual real life queer people, predominantly of color, but because there wasn't a TV show about hot boys fucking, like, I don't know.
But there is going to be a TV show.
I did hear this. Paige Beckers. I wish Hunting Wives got the same reaction that Heated Rivalry did. Did you watch Hunting Wives?
I did.
Right. It's similar vibe, like queerness. I mean, them hiding in Republican land and them hiding in Republican land, whether it's hockey or politics, it's the same.
Guess so. But like, they're also like a little queer.
Yeah.
They're like, everyone's still got a husband, right? Like,
Who they're pegging.
yeah, but like that
No, I hear you.
does that make them gay? I don't know.
But did you see who is going to have a starring role on season 2 of Hunting Wives?
No.
Angel Reese.
Oh, wait, I did. You know what? I did see that. And I'm going to be honest with you. I scrolled by it and I thought it was like a meme or fake AI.
No?
Amazing.
Angel Reese is starring in season 2 of Hunting Wives.
Number 1, I'm excited to know that there's a season 2 of Hunting Wives. And number 2, I'm excited to see Angel Reese. But wait, Angel Reese is not queer, right?
She's straight, yeah.
Right. Okay. So to your point, they just there were so many queer women that could have been in the show and they picked a straight one. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's fine as long as, I mean, she could still peg her husband. That's still pretty straight.
Yeah, totally.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I've been watching?
What?
The West Wing. Have you ever watched it?
So it's one of those shows that my roommate that I lived in with Provincetown would rewatch it every year.
Wow, that's
just
a
like
commitment.
it's like his favorite rewatch. So I've seen so much of it. You know, I love Allison Janney. So
yeah, it's a great rewatch. Katie had never seen it.
For
those of you who don't know, my hot girlfriend Katie had never seen it, and so I was like, I've always watched it. A friend of mine mentioned it again, and I was like, yeah, no, I need to go do that. Somebody else called it hope porn. But watching it 20 years later, like at the time of watching it, it really has been something that's been sticking with me. You know, this came out in 2003, 4, 5, 6, something around there. It was like 7 seasons. Each one is an hour. There's 20 episodes a season. So like
Hundreds of episodes.
you can literally, when I'm done here, what time is it? It's 5:45. I told Katie tonight after we record, I just want to get in bed and just binge episodes
Hell
because
yeah.
they're endless. You can literally spend 3 hours a night watching it, and there's still weeks to go. But at the time, the Bartlett presidency was very much to me the Clintons, quote unquote, and the Republican challenger was giving Bush vibes, and it was just very much that. And you thought, wow, look at this progressive leadership in the White House. Wow, 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 wow. Does it read true 20 years later with a little bit of hindsight, right? Like it's really interesting to see how dated it. I mean, obviously, we know we have race issues. We know that we're evolving as a species and we're learning all these things and that it's bad or it was bad. But it's crazy to go back to this thing that seemed to be such a liberal stalwart and have it be very middle. Like in my mind, I'm like, did you just tell that Asian senator from Texas that he has an identity to like, I was just like, why are you talking to that guy like that? Oh, because he's Asian. I see. Okay. Right. And it led me to think a lot about the people of us, like people older than I am of a certain age who feel like the country is changing so fast that like I understand where they're coming from. Like if they grew up on the West Wing and watching it, it seemed so liberal at the time. And like where we are now is so far. I don't know. I just get, I'm understanding why people are, cause I was like, wow, what is, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to go back and watch something 20 years later and be like, whoa, you weren't progressive. Wait, that was,
right?
Or wait, that was
progressive, right?
Yeah,
Did you ever watch Scandal?
No.
I watch it, and it was a what's her name, Shonda Rhimes show about politics, and one thing watching it, there's kind of like the president and the government, and then this like secret society above them, like really pulling the strings, and and I was like, oh, that's totally real. I'm sure there is like something above our government that's pulling
deep
the strings.
state.
Yeah, but and then like with what's happened since then, like since Trump got nominated or won the presidency in 2016, since then I've been like, oh no, there is no one making sure things are running smoothly.
If they were controlling it, they would have controlled this way better.
Yeah, he would have been gone in a month.
Harrison, your clip.
Oh yeah,
it's
still going crazy,
still cooking. And I have to say, I found it really funny that I got a DM about.
Well, let's give it a little preface just in case.
Okay.
So about me. So basically we posted a clip which was from an episode a few weeks ago where I was talking about my experiences in Provincetown, of a few of the reasons why I left. And I posted a clip which was kind of about how the town is changing with foreign workers, like the idea that Provincetown is this like gay community. It was just like me talking about it. And since then I think it's at like what? 4,000 likes, and it's just really kind of
like 45,000 views, a lot of reshares because Provincetown is a place that is special to people and they really feel ownership of it, whether they're here for a week or I don't know, once a week in all 4 seasons, whatever. That's something people like to say. And they often feel personally attacked when we acknowledge that it's not perfect here. And I find
which is something I spoke about in the episode.
You spoke about it not being perfect, particularly for the queer community, and how it's very specifically geared towards one demographic, which is wealthy, older, white, cis men. That is a fact. People were very offended by that, particularly people who spend most of their time in like Palm Springs, P-Town, Puerto Vallarta. Like there is a set of those people. Now,
yeah, totally.
I think it's fair that we critique a place that I live here still. This is my community. I've been here for 14 years. I'm allowed to critique it. I don't know if you noticed how many times, and this is something that I am really sick of. I run a not-for-profit called Summer of Sass. A lot of people know this. But prior to that, I was a stand-up comedian and am a stand-up comedian who has spent decades saying what I think while being a mindful human who does good work. And if one more person comments that I should watch what I say if I want to get donations to my program, I think my head's going to explode. Because all that does is tell me that you are not donating to a program that you believe is a good cause. You're donating to a program where the executive director kisses your ass. And I spent almost 5 years. I did spend 5 years in this community trying to get funding, kissing ass, and it didn't work. And I got funding when I finally said, hey, y'all have a lot of money that you're just throwing orgies with. And could you give me some? And someone was like, yeah, actually, way to be bold and brave enough to speak truth to power. So that's all. I just want to put that out there. I am really over people coming for me because they don't like what I say about wealth in a community that is riddled with wealth. Like, it tells me so much about somebody when they don't say, hey, like, I disagree with you, but like the work you're doing, whatever. But when you say, a lot of those same rich people you're talking about donate to Summer of Sass, and I say, I get every email sometimes when somebody donates. Trust me, I know if you donated or not.
Right.
And you haven't, sir.
It's also
For the
it's one of those.
record.
Imagine having a brain where you go, well, I wanted to support the queer and trans 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who are in horrible living situations. I wanted to support them. But Kristen said something kind of mean about a gigantic, extremely privileged group that I belong to. So I'm not gonna. Like, what a crazy way to think.
It's so wild to want to control someone's, and it would be different if we were like, fuck all y'all. And the other thing I would also like to point out is that clip you posted is only you.
Yeah.
I am not in it at all. I say nothing. And we both got DMs, and you ended up getting like sort of a, yeah, I hear that after you responded. And I just got nitpicked and nitpicked and nitpicked until I got blocked. To like, and that's the misogyny. That's the part where
I was also coming from like when people were like, but what's the solution? Like, this is so fucked up of you guys to like just point out problems without solutions. I was like, listen, this episode was about why I left.
talk to your daddy.
I left because I don't think there are solutions anymore. One of the reasons there are no solutions is because there is a Venn diagram of solutions that would work and then solutions that still allow rich people to do absolutely whatever the fuck they want. And those circles don't touch. And they're not going to like solutions that don't continue to allow the ultra wealthy to do whatever they want in any instance, no matter what. Like, there are no solutions that would work.
I've got notes on how I need to be less divisive and how I need to build community. And when that was the part where I'm really like, listen, Summer of Sass, but like, that's like the tip of the iceberg. Fruit Basket has the most trans and diverse lineup of any show in town. Foxy is an all femmes and thems showcase that I also produce. Like, the amount of different things that I and you did in this community that actually build community, and somebody who like literally thinks that showing up 4 times a year to come all over the place is building community, like, go fuck yourself, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
I really can't with that. It's something that I'm all for an honest discussion. I'm all for being told I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. That's okay. But there's so many other things wrong with me, and telling me that I don't build community, go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like a lot of people being like, it's so fucked up of you to like not to come up with any solutions to just point out problems. It's like, you are correct. In this 55-second video, I just talked about a problem with no solutions. But if you've been paying attention at all to anything that I do or that you do over the last 10 years, there have been suggested solutions.
The amount of community work that I had to do to feel confident enough to have a podcast.
Right.
Go fuck yourself, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, that felt nice. Thanks.
Now that we've talked about like movie or like TV, movies, our social media, I feel like everyone has got to be wondering when we're going to talk about the state of the world.
Part of the binging is a direct result of the state of the world. After the most recent murder in Minneapolis, I kind of had a meltdown after watching the full thing transpire, watching the video, and then I turned on the news, and I don't know why. I feel like if I watch BBC News, it's better, and it's not. And they were just streaming the border czar Gestapo press conference that was lying to our faces and not challenging it at all. And it broke me a little bit. And I
Mhm.
kind of like disconnected because we always say this should be a breaking point. This should be an inflection point, but it seems to not be. I'm really, yeah, I'm struggling.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
37-year-old Minneapolis man, his name is Alex Preddy. He was shot and killed by a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Minnesota because of all the U.S. borders in Minnesota. He was an intensive care unit nurse at a Veterans Affairs hospital. And obviously, everyone around him really said that he was an amazing person. Like, obviously, for years, we've talked about how hypocritical Republicans are. But I do think over the past few months, the hypocrisy has butted up against itself so hard that it's just like, it's so frustrating. You now have Republicans who have stood up for the Second Amendment for 10, 20, 30 years, now saying that a man with a concealed carry permit
Who never brandished his weapon.
carrying a concealed weapon is now allowed to be executed in the street.
For having what is a normal human reaction. A
Right.
woman was shoved. He reacted. And it's like, hey, don't do that. Like that to me was the part where I was like, wait, this is something that anybody who's raised right sees a person. And no, I'm not going to speak to the male experience, but specifically when a man sees a woman shoved and they've been brought up to protect, and never hit a woman and all of those things. That's very common in our society. And just by simply interjecting in that, which I believe was a reaction, I don't think it was a thought. I think it was an honest reaction to somebody shoving somebody in front of them to immediately get blasted with pepper spray, get surrounded, and get executed and then the National Guard gets activated to protect federal buildings, right? Like it's really something that we can talk about the Rittenhouse of it, how Kyle Rittenhouse was allowed to have an assault rifle and everybody said he was a hero after he killed somebody. We can talk about how after BLM, there was a lot of rioting and whatever, but at the end of the day, this is only fascism. There's no other word for it. There's no other word for the government going on television and lying to your face about things you've seen with your own eyes. We all watched it. And I encourage everyone to just go watch the video. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care if you like guns or not. I don't care about any of that. Go watch a series of events unfold. Don't watch it with commentary. Don't let Fox tell you what it is. Don't let Rachel Maddow tell you what it is. Just watch that video unfold and those actions. Watch what happens. See what you probably would have done in the same situation, and then see what happens to that person. And then tell me we live in a free society.
Like, if you simplify what has happened over the last year, a year, 2, 3, 10 years ago, we had groups like the Proud Boys and these other far right militia groups jumping out of U-Hauls, and basically all those people are now ICE agents. And instead of U-Hauls, they now have government-issued Suburbans, and the president and Kristi Noem and all of these people are going on television saying that they are allowed to kill people.
Yes.
So those same people that were members of far-right militia groups are now in the streets of places they don't live, killing people, and they're allowed to.
Killing people specifically and saying that they're killing them because they were exercising their Second Amendment rights. Because that's what they're saying is the reason for the killing is that there was a weapon. But didn't you all literally storm the Capitol so you could keep your guns? As long as you were legal with them, you could carry them?
I think he was just trying to be a good guy with a gun.
But now we know why, because you've seen what the White House has asked for. They've asked for the Minnesota voter rolls.
I heard that. What do you think that means?
I think it means that they're trying to make sure that this election goes their way. I think it means that Trump is still mad and throwing a little baby bitch fit about Minnesota not voting for him. And I think that I think it's about election fraud is what I think it's about. And I know we're not allowed to say that because they spent 4 years saying the whole thing was rigged, but I think it's about rigging it. I think it's about trying to make sure. I think that's also why they don't care about whether or not they're getting legal or illegal immigrants, because they don't care if they get a few Democratic voters. And in their minds, those are Democratic voters.
Right. The ones standing in the street protesting.
Exactly. But I think they'll be surprised to learn that it's everybody now. It started like that, but there are a lot of people who would not identify as leftist or liberal who are starting to see this and are standing up and hitting the streets. And I do think it's going to take a general strike at this point. I think we have to shut the whole fucking thing down. I think I always have. I don't know why I'm saying at this point. I've always believed that it will take all of us to just stop. Everybody just stop. And if you have money, make extra food for your neighbors, because they're not going to be able to go to work. But that's community, that's mutual aid. That is the only thing that's going to get us out of this, because this is escalating rapidly. And they're using cities like Minneapolis, St. Paul, that has a small population, that they can make it feel like it's being invaded. And that's what they're not doing this in New York City because they get run the fuck out of town. They're not doing this in Boston yet. But I think in Boston, they'll get run the fuck out of town as well. But they're doing it in places, right? There's a lot of ICE activity in Buffalo right now. You know, it's places where their presence can feel so intimidating that they can beat down the population. But Minnesota is fighting back. I just hope Walz makes a different decision other than, I'm going to bring out the National Guard so the National Guard can protect the federal buildings.
Right.
Like, girl, come on. I understand people are like, oh, the Supremacy Clause. Like, are you familiar with the Supremacy Clause? Basically that when state runs up against feds, feds win. Like, no matter what, the feds are going to, like, whatever it is, it's the feds. But I guess it's time for secession then. Like, I'm sick of my tax. Like, I've always been like, let's just stop paying our taxes and bounce. But, like, shut it down.
I still get, like, you have police officers who go into the street, see and are like aware that these people are murdering people in the streets, and they have you look at a police officer, like a state police officer in their car, their uniform, their badge, all their shiny things they've got all over them, and they're gonna look over and see some guy in a fucking tap out sweatshirt with a tactical vest on and go, sorry, that guy's in charge.
I don't know how, at the very least, these federal agents don't have to identify themselves to the local law enforcement on the scene with actual ID and like with all of those things. And why aren't we gathering that information? I know there's a reason why we're documenting, because everyone loves to talk about the Nuremberg trials, and, yes, there can be accountability in the long run. But in the immediate, I don't understand why when any local authority shows up, they don't just go, yeah, it's cute, you're ICE, but like, let me see prove it. Let me see your
and if
badge
you can't
and your
prove
name.
it, you are impersonating a federal officer, and I'm taking you to jail.
Yeah, because you are
I don't
likely to
understand.
kidnap and rape.
But you also, like, to my point that I made a few minutes ago, it's also because they're the same people. Like,
What do you mean?
like police officers and Proud Boys, that's a Venn diagram that's pretty close to a circle. Like, police officers are also like a lot of people joke that ICE agents are people who couldn't pass the police test. There are people who are just as bad at them that did pass the police test.
I think that's sure. I don't think anyone would deny that there are some bad cops.
Some?
Right. Yeah. There are also some good ones, and they usually get swallowed up by the bad ones.
Right. That's what I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, we keep being like, why aren't the police doing anything? I don't think the police disagree with what's happening as much as we do because of who they are.
I think that's been true up until this point, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to take for that to switch, because it should have switched already.
Yeah. I had a wild idea.
Okay.
And
Is it a solution? Because if it's not a solution, we don't want to hear it.
It's a solution.
Okay.
Everyone has to start doing whatever they can. And I look at the people that have the most power, and I'm like, what could they do? And I look at someone like Gavin Newsom, who is very clearly on a path to run for president the next presidential election cycle. And he's kind of adopted this kind of balls to the wall, kind of not polite. Like, he's not a when they go low, we go high kind of Democrat. He's kind of positing himself as like this brass kind of Democrat. Why doesn't
snarky social media, etc.?
I think what he should do is get on social media, announce his run for presidency in 2028, and say, when I win, which I will, I am going to make sure that every ICE agent who is still on the payroll at the end of this coming week is hung in the streets my first day of presidency.
They'll kill him.
But what I'm saying is, like, give them time to resign and get out. Like, that is a way, like, I feel like the ICE agent should be scared of that,
Yeah, they can't see that far ahead.
which is why Gavin Newsom has got to get on it. So, do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree.
and what I would hope would have, like, say, like, anyone on ICE payroll next Monday is going to be charged for their war crimes, charged for treason for going against the US Constitution. And hopefully half the people that are in ICE go, fuck, that's like, that might happen. And all of a sudden, they're back in their Suburbans driving back home to Oklahoma from Minnesota.
I wonder how long you have to be with the agency to get your $50,000 signing bonus,
Right,
because that would be the variable,
right.
right? People do a lot to get their 50 grand. I came in so chill from shoveling, and now I'm all amped up.
Worked. Do you want to talk about a good thing?
I would, yeah, let's.
I actually have one.
Okay. Well, and we're going to continue to have one. And I think it's
Yes.
important that we tell people that, because we
Yes.
recognize that times are heavy right now. But I
But
think
times
we'll
are
have
heavy
it.
because a truly are heavy.
Yes.
A lot of times I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about, like, oh, we've got to get off social media because it's all gloom and doom. But, like, at a certain point, it feels like gloom and doom because it is gloom and doom, and it falls on everyone's shoulders to do everything they can about it.
It's true. But also recognize that, like, sometimes you got to take a time out.
But yeah,
Not head
take
in
your
the
time
sand,
out.
but like,
Look for the levity. Action is always going to make you feel better. You know,
yeah,
if you're
hence-
feeling bad about the state of the world, go to your local soup kitchen. It will make you feel better.
Yeah.
Um,
Find something in your community that in a way that you can help. And the way that you can help, there's such a wide range. I don't want, not everyone's built for being out in the streets. That's okay.
mhm.
You don't have to be that. Not everybody wants to document. That scares them. You don't have to.
Mhm.
There's other ways. There's going to be so many other ways moving forward. You don't have to be the person with the gun. You don't have to be the person with the camera. You could be the person that's gathering the diapers. Like, there's going to be a lot of different ways to show up
Mhm.
for your local community, and you're going to have to.
Right.
And you're going to feel better when you do.
Totally. Yeah. But the
Look
good
at
news
us
story.
talking about building community.
Yeah. What would we know about it?
I know, right?
But so this starts with sports, but loops back around to what we've been talking about. I know I talked about it last week. Unrivaled. It's a 3-on-3 women's basketball league. I'm super into it, obviously. My favorite player in the world is Paige Beckers. She's not only an incredible basketball player, but an incredible activist, an incredible person. She just, like, seems like the coolest person in the world. And
Because she is the coolest person in the world.
right. And what
With
they
a hot girlfriend, so
also with a hot girlfriend, the people's princess. But at the start of the Unrivaled season, they said whoever makes the most free throws until this point is going to win $50,000. They did a little free throw challenge. And this past week, Paige Beckers found out that she indeed won it because she made 13. She won 100%. She made every single one of her free throws.
wow.
And they told her she won the $50,000. They asked her what she was going to do with it, and she said, she was so excited. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, I have a plan for it. Like, I'm not going to be going buying pocket watches or anything like that." And then the next day, she announced that she was donating all $50,000 to her local community in Minnesota because she knows a lot of people in Minnesota aren't going to work right now. So she donated all $50,000 to her hometown of Hopkins, Minnesota, to help the people that are experiencing a lot of bad things with what's going on in Minnesota right now.
Federal invasion.
Yes. Paige
All
Beckers
right.
is going to save the world.
2 snaps, many snaps for Paige Beckers.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about. And there hasn't been enough of people with platforms talking about this. And I'm not sure
Truly.
if that is the fear setting in and people with too much to lose being afraid to stick their necks out. But if that's already happening, we've got problems. Y'all need to use your voice. If you have the
Yeah.
ability to fly out of this country, you should be
You're
using your
right.
voice. You should be using your
Exactly.
voice right now.
Exactly.
Did we do it? I think we did it.
Yeah, we did. Thanks for
Wow.
chatting today, Kristen.
I had a great time chatting with you.
Me too.
I always enjoy it. Sorry, I got a little bit worked up, but I'm just not going to suffer fools, man.
It's people telling you to behave because it makes them uncomfortable.
It's definitely I don't like any form of someone trying to dangle their money over anyone else's head ever. And
Truly.
that's what that feels like. And that feels gross. And that's why we're going to eat the rich.
Yum, yum.
Yum, yum. All right. Love you.
Yeah, queerly. I'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Queer is in.